Alrighty, we're live. Say hello, boys.
Hello.
Hello. I'm eating some chocolate right now.
Hey, nice.
With pretzels inside of it.
With pretzels inside?
Excited?
Why would you ruin a perfectly good chocolate? Oh my
It's
god.
dark chocolate with pretzels.
That's a
Is that
That sounds like a mistake. My god.
Also, Merlin, your VC face stuff's up.
Oh, shizer. God damn it. There we are. We're fixed. Classic Merlin error.
Classic Merlin.
Classic
Hello,
Merlin.
Marsh. Hello, Phoenix.
Oh yeah, I just realized that I...
Uh,
Sup? So, it's time for some The Other Side After Dark. Crazy, I get to be on 2 episodes in a row. How cool.
Yeah, this is the dudes getting together.
Just a bit of a sausage fest. Oh, thank you for the follow. Dark Force 1999.99. Hello, Dark Force.
yeah. Hello.
This is our show where we're going to talk about D&D and some upcoming stuff. Yes, Dark Force. Shoot your shot. Also, how's the music level, Phoenix and Marsh? I changed the music.
Oh, new music. Cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not new music, it's just different music. It's the music I use for the intro for Iruvian Knights, now Heralds. I just made a character on D&D Beyond. Yes, Dark Boss. Continue. Yeah, music. Can you hear the music, Marsh? Can you hear the music? Or is it muted? No, it should be there.
I don't think any music's coming through. Is it?
There we are. How's that? Okay, Phoenix is saying it's a vibe, but Marsh is saying he can't hear it.
Oh, it's...
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely on.
Yeah, cool. Is it too loud? Good? Solid volume? Cool. Yes, you chose an ASMR, Dark Force. This is awesome. Actual D&D questions for once. Crazy. Do I always have to be good? Hell no.
Hell no.
Angelic blood and being a celestial, like, being touched by the gods and having celestial blood does not make you good. Depends on which blood your angelic line comes from. You could be, tied to a god of war or to a god of death. It really doesn't matter. Flavor it however you want. You don't have to be good. Being similar to your god's alignment is probably ideal, but yeah. And how are we? How are we, boys?
How are we? No one ever asks how we are.
You're also a
They
paladin.
just ask who we are.
Who are we?
I don't even know that answer. The question to that.
Asking the
I just go
philosophical
out.
questions. That's correct, Marsh.
Also a paladin. No, you can be a paladin of a not necessarily good god. Whatever god you choose, I'd just say probably follow along that god's path if you want. I'd say being close to your god's alignment, you don't necessarily have to be the same alignment, but being similar is probably a good thing. Just to guide where your character's going. I don't use alignment, so I'm probably not the greatest person to ask. Whenever I create a character, I never decide on alignment, because alignment to me does not matter. It's a relic of the past, man.
Yeah, my character's also just based on vibe rather than alignment.
Yeah. Like, Amish is definitely chaotic good. But,
And
Like,
Dante
Lucy
is war criminal.
yeah, Dante is straight up a war criminal. He's killed so many dudes.
And then Lucy just goes off emotion and motivations. I don't know if he has an alignment either.
I wish you could find a campaign to play in. There should be plenty of online Discord communities where you should be able to find a game. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but there definitely are some. I've been a part of several in my time. I used to play in a Swedish game. That was fun. In English, not in Swedish. I don't speak Swedish. I know how to say bread, which is brod, but that's it. That's all I know. Brod. Other than that, there are plenty of online groups, and depending on where you live in the world, there should be plenty of local clubs. What I would suggest, if you can't find a campaign, find a one-shot to start off in. Find some friends, find some other people in the hobby who you like. But yeah, that's what I'd say. Anyways, how are we, boys? Windham, how are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I don't know how. Yes, I'm good. I think I had a stroke.
I think you did.
Well, that's not good.
Isabeni Yume, how are you?
Genki desu yo. Soybean.
Did you fucking
what else
start
can
in
I say?
Japanese and finish in Spanish?
Indeed.
日本語を話します. I'm doing great. I'm always excited to see you guys on the Saturday. I look forward to it every time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited to talk with the boys today. Although we are streaming, what we
Mhm.
do will be used and
You
used against us.
In a court of law, yep. Which court of law? Probably Australian, but
All of them.
whichever one I have an advantage in, so probably Australia.
But at least we have the boss here today, so
That is
you can
true.
defend us against the ladies of the group.
Exactly, Big Boss Merlin.
I was gonna make a big boss joke. This is a Metal Gear thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I do have a new nickname in the VTT, a little community, which is shit, what's it called?
Merlin Sand Company Man.
Yeah, that's it, Melon Sand Company Man. Running companies, making cash, not much cash. I wish we made more, but hey, that'll come with time. I don't know how much money I've sunk into VTT. Oh my god! Between the D&D Beyond books and the
Yes.
a new
We made
cheer.
exactly one cash.
Thank you for the one cash, Windham Bustler. I appreciate it.
We've made one monies.
Whole money.
No.
Crazy.
I gifted one bit previously, so we've actually gotten 2 cash.
Whole wow. Thank you for the whole 2 cash. Thank you. I'm hoping that when eventually I become a 2D tuber, 2D VTuber, I want to have a really, really long wizard beard, like a huge one. Because I'll have a little bit more freedom with how big that beard will get. So, I really want it. That's one of the reasons I want to go 2D. It's just so I can have a huge beard.
That'd be cool, actually, if the viewers can make your beard longer or shorter.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be a good use of the channel points. Anyways, gonna talk about D&D. What's going on? How you guys feeling about the campaign so far?
The campaign.
I put down the plug yourself for later, so I already beat all of you guys.
Hey, nice. As long as you
That's
beat
cheating.
Windham, that's all that matters. How are we feeling about the campaign so far?
It's pretty good.
Man of
Very
many
interesting.
words.
Man of many words.
Yeah, it's
I was
alright.
waiting for like some kind of affirmation or something after that before I could go
Well,
deeper.
I couldn't affirm it
I'm
because it's my
fine.
own game, so that would just seem really shallow.
Yeah. Well, I will add to that. So we've completed the first arc,
Mhm.
and each of the characters, or not each of them, well, I would say yes, each of them has gone through quite a change. Dante has become more of a killing machine, and with that, he's gained some confidence, right? Emeth has started to. I don't really know exactly what it is because I'm not Emeth, but to me and to Lucy, it seems like she might be a little bit more. She starts to question maybe more who she is and what she's doing.
Mm.
And then Lucy has gone through a lot of change. He's now missing another arm, and he's on a path.
I
Yeah.
find it really funny and ironic how the character obsessed with freedom has become the one who's chained.
Mhm.
I find that hilarious and kind of fitting.
Mhm. I think that's the tragic nature of who he is, where if because he's pursued it to such an extent where he's become a slave to his own wishes or
Mm.
wishes.
And Mr. Tree Boy over here,
Yeah, Mr. Tree Boy.
Mr. Tree Boy, where do you think
I'm
you're
actually
headed?
very worried about him.
You're worried about the Tree Boy?
Yes,
Why are you worried about the Tree Boy?
Yeah.
because I just have a feeling he's just going to turn into a tree.
Oh,
Well,
like,
what if that's what we all want?
don't we all turn into
Secret
trees in
human
the end?
desire. Yeah.
And I also don't trust who he's pledged to. Well, at least Lucy doesn't trust who
Mm.
he's pledged to.
Uh,
Then again, that's being a little bit hypocritical.
I'm actually pretty. I'm quite happy with how the last combat went. I came so close to killing you, Mindy. So close.
Yeah.
You and your 13
uh,
HP.
At this point, it's a fight between us as player and dungeon master to see when will I use like a feature.
Yep. Like I threw 2 Chimera at you specifically to try and get you to use it. Finally,
Oh yeah, and what happened to them?
they got fucking murked, dude. They got fucking murked.
Did you do like 43 damage with a Hellish Rebuke?
I did 30 damage with it.
Yeah,
30 damage.
too much
Yeah,
damage for
right now it's
Hellish.
40 damage max.
Oh my god. Rude. But yeah, I do find your distrust of Dante amusing. It's quite interesting.
Well, so while you're here, I'll just go get out with it.
Mm.
But I have a feeling that you'll also use that in the future for Lucy to go against Dante, kind of like how you did with Mativ.
Yeah. Oh gosh darn, you've seen through my trick. Oh yeah, you
But I
think
would actually be interested in seeing that.
yeah. You think it'll be as small as that. Okay.
I don't hope it's like the whole team goes after me or anything.
I am genuinely so happy. Speaking of Arc 1, of Heralds, I am so happy with how the Lucy Matif conflict grew. It grew nearly as much as I planned. Like, literally my goal from session 4 was to make you hate each other. Like, that was my goal, because I'm like, I can feel the beginnings of, like, a dislike, but I can make it so much worse. So yeah, I'm glad that it did that as well as I planned for it to happen.
So with that, what were your thoughts on the latest episode where they were a little bit more amicable towards each other?
It was nice. It was nice. Like, my plan was not for you guys to hate each other for the whole campaign. My plan with those two, my plan with you two was to make you hate each other so that you could realize how similar you are. Right? Because the more I feel, especially for Lucy, less for Matif, more for Lucy, showing him a mirror and going, hey buddy, look into the mirror. What you hate is not Matif, it's yourself. And it worked like a charm.
But now it's kind of going into, if you stare into the abyss long enough, then you'll see the darkness within yourself.
Yeah, he's gone a bit
what is
emo. He's gone Last Jedi, and he's looking into that big, like, evil Sith hole. Yeah, he
I was actually
you go.
I was actually looking it up on YouTube and trying to see how to write a great corruption arc. And one of the things that they mentioned was one of the concepts of a corruption arc is pursuing the truth, but not in like a healthy manner. So I think he's still trying to pursue that freedom and he's still fighting for the strength of the weak. But with what I have planned, it's not the right way to do it.
Yeah. So I intentionally, when you were looting that guy's corpse, the War Master.
That guy.
Yeah, that guy, an incredibly important
That one-off
NPC.
guy.
That one-off guy I had art made for. I intentionally gave you that much gold because I'm just like, all right, let's see how many mistakes he can make with this gold. And yeah, I was right. Well, not that I'm not going to say anything, but I know what he's planning. And I'm just like, cool, sweet. And I think what it is I think Lucy is in the middle of a corruption arc, but I think it's going to be up to the party to reel him in. So this is,
I think so too.
This is my kind of thing of Lucy has lost his way and he needs somebody else to guide him back. And I think it's either going to be Emeth or Dante. I would like it to be Matif because I think that would be very fitting. I don't think it will be. I think it'll probably be Emeth. But yeah,
I think Matif is like dealing with his own stuff right now.
Yeah, Matif has a lot going on. So I think it's probably Emeth. Emeth will probably, but she's got her own stuff. Dante has his own stuff, but it's less internal and more external.
Dante is a bit like no-brained sometimes.
Yeah,
You
which
don't
is
have problems if you don't have thoughts.
maybe I need to focus on Dante more.
Maybe he has problems inside. That's a secret.
Right, then you should tell me because then I can build cool story arcs.
But yeah, but I shouldn't tell it here.
That is true. Yeah, please just message me in private, going, "Hey, here's the secrets."
Self-loathing.
Well, Lucy and Dante were supposed to talk last episode, but Matif ended up getting really drunk, and I just wanted to see more of that.
Yes.
Southern Matif is my favorite Matif. I will just say I'm gonna clip literally that whole section and just make it its own video. Matif goes Southern. I will actually say I did make a there is I'll let you a look behind the Dungeon Master screen. I made a mistake in the last session that I forgot that you wanted to do, Yume. Or Lucy wanted to do. He wanted to talk to the prince. Which I completely forgot that the prince was there, if I'm completely honest. Because there was so much else going on. You were like, I'm going to go loot a corpse and go, like, pray for the dead and everybody get drunk. And I was like, cool, yep, I'm DMing party. And then you guys, I was narrating you guys leaving. And I was like, fuck, damn it. The
There's
prince,
always,
yeah,
letters and stuff. So
yeah. Well, the prince should be meeting up. Well, not meeting up, but in the vicinity. Depends on where you guys choose to go. But yeah. What do you guys think of?
Excited to meet him.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the prince is a very interesting character. I really want Lucy to meet him because I think it would be very interesting for him. I think that would be an interesting situation.
I think it'd be interesting to meet him at this point as well, like
Mm.
where Lucy is right now.
Yeah, because at this point he's a prince in exile. He's not even a prince.
Mhm.
So yeah, he's one of the more interesting political aspects that I kind of threw in there. And one of the questions I especially wanted for Lucy, because, you know, the well-being of his own people is very important to him. Like deep down, right? He has a hate for authority. But, you know, at his heart, I do feel he is interested in the people, his own people, and making sure they're okay. But I'm also especially interested in how, I think that's probably why he's gone so emo, is that he had to kill so many of his own people. Is what I think is interesting. But yeah.
Actually, I try to reflect kind of what his inner self is with the new style change, especially the the change of his belt buckle, right? Going from free, and now it says hearts on it. So basically, he's, instead of going for like this freedom, where he still is going for the freedom, but now he's like pursuing matters of the heart. And I think he does that. So it's almost like those headbands that Japanese people wear, where they're trying to like be determined and focus on a single goal. That's kind of like his version of it, where he puts it so blatantly obvious that so he won't forget, and that other people will know.
Quick segue from Emo Lucy. Dante, I need to know. Sorry, Windham. I've gone into DM mode now. Windham. What does Dante think of the visions? His tree visions.
I mean, he is, of course, as with everything, absolutely terrified. But he's starting to take it more seriously, I think. With sort of how often and how present they are. So it's like there's a pressure on him now, I think.
Yeah.
That he didn't necessarily feel earlier.
So yeah, I do enjoy the little drop of the
A tree.
the redwoods motif. Yeah, in your like near the town you grew up. Crazy. Wow, who would have thought? Wow, wild.
I did ask if it was difficult to get there.
But yeah, I think it's a. You know me. I like tying people's backstories together. So yeah.
Also, kind of like another interjection. I think it would be cool.
Objection.
And, like, obviously, it's up
Sorry.
to you. But when we do have like either Wendy or me, or like fewer people available, if we do kind of how I've seen it in Critical Role, right? Well, they'll have an episode mainly focused on maybe like a single character or like a duo, where it's not like a big part of the main story, but just like a side story.
Yeah.
Maybe like where Dante and Lucy decide to go on a dude trip.
Bro trip.
Just for like a day.
So yeah, that'd be cool. Um, yeah. So another thing, Lucy.
I'm just thinking. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. A stream where we send Lucy and Matif to couples therapy.
Yes. Oh yeah, with Amesh. Now look.
Boy.
Now, dudes, look into each other's eyes.
Pour one out for Amish.
Yeah.
God,
Speaking
soul
of,
searching.
how do you feel now that you have his surfboard?
So, is this the same surfboard that
He gave to
he was
Matif.
giving to Matif?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is the surfboard he's been using.
Yeah, it's the red one. The red one with white stripes.
So the first thing that I thought when I got it was that how is Lucy going to carry this around?
Yeah.
And my second thought was it's a really cool surfboard, and I would like to use it, but I can't.
It is technically a shield, but you will have to get another arm.
Say it's occasionally.
And then the third point was, it was actually kind of unexpected for Lucy. And I don't think that Lucy has really taken any souvenirs from anyone. He's not necessarily introverted, right? But he's not really out to make these deep connections with people. For probably his own reasons, personal reasons. And so I think that he's very glad that there is someone out there who will give up something so valuable for him. Because I don't think he's had that before.
I think it's one of those things that Amish is more of a show of good faith. Like, he believes in Lucy. You know what I mean? You know, because obviously, Amish is very aware of what's going on with Lucy. He knows he's good at people. He's not the smartest cookie, but he knows how people work. So he's like, all right, I'm gonna give him something sentimental and something he needs, but hopefully he gets the message. Maybe he hasn't yet, but yeah.
One of the things that I know Lucy wanted to talk with Amish about was the wars that he had mentioned he had been in. Because obviously Amish isn't, although he looks just like a random stoner guy, I imagine, and Lucy probably imagines, he's actually been through a lot.
Yeah.
And so maybe he'll write a letter like he's notorious for doing.
Well, when you eventually meet up with him again, maybe he'll be able to tell you.
There's actually a lot of letters that I want Lucy to write to people.
Well, you've got money for all the stamps in the world.
So, did you want to lead us somewhere, or can we talk about this money that I have?
I did want to ask one more question to
Yes.
Mr. Vossler.
Aha.
What does Dante think about the antlers, the crown?
He's kind of sentimental about it, I think. Of course, because the elk has been showing up, and he didn't want to use the twig of elk summoning because it's. I mean, one, it seemed very powerful and potentially dangerous, but also it's a way to summon what in his head is essentially a friend at will. So now that he's lost his ability and he got a gift for the elk, it's sort of, he feels better about it. So it's not like he sees it as some magical artifact or anything of real power or value, just a symbol of camaraderie with the elk.
Mm. Um,
Like there isn't necessarily any real connection with the elk. It's all through the magical good stuff. But like it's just that's definitely just a him and the elk thing.
mm. Also, you guys may not have picked up on this, and there'll be more examples of it that are kind of sprinkled throughout the story with angels and with very important, I don't want to say characters, that's not quite true, with very like powerful beings, not necessarily characters, but very powerful angels or whatnot. I try to incorporate parts of mythology. Sometimes I'll change the name slightly. But Koresh is actually a stag from Jewish mythology that I've kind of thrown in. It's not necessarily the same, but just a little bit of a tidbit for you.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yes. And kind of going with the subject, where Dante is very fascinated by all these things. One of the things that Lucy is definitely thinking is why you're not questioning any of this, and why you're okay with these antlers, this elk, and your skin turning wood, and you're not even questioning it. That's why he's like slightly worried about Dante, where he might be getting himself into something that he's not fully aware of. And once again, you'll
Lucy
turn
being a
into a tree.
protective?
What was that?
Is Lucy being a bit protective?
I think so, because like I mentioned before, like Lucy likes Dante. He sees a lot of potential in him, but he probably thinks that you're just taking it a little too easy, where you're kind of just going through life and you're succeeding, right? But you're not questioning like what's going on.
It's like watching someone with genius level intellect kind of breezing through a Bachelor of Arts, going, you could be a doctor, man. Like, if you just applied yourself.
Because Dante is how old again?
Oh, 23 or something.
Young boy.
So he's just slightly
Yeah.
younger than Lucy.
He's just a child. Compared to like the hundreds of years old elves and stuff.
Yeah, and like his personality is also, I wouldn't say it's like very mature, but it's not childish, but it's still like a very innocent personality who probably hasn't seen much. And so that's why I think another reason why Lucy's a little bit protective of him, because he doesn't want him to be that potential that he has to go towards evil or something worse or whatever it is. It's actually, now that I think about it, I wonder if he's doing that almost like as a projection. Because Lucy, he wasn't really anyone important, right? And then when he tried to be someone more, when he joined the army, he ended up the way he is now. And then so now here he sees someone who's great. He's a nice guy. He's got a lot of potential. But with that comes the danger of him being like him, like Lucy. But also the potential of him for him to be someone great. But if Lucy is in a position to talk to Dante about that, I don't know. But he'll definitely try. That's the thing.
So, next topic. What do we want to talk about?
Will you talk a little bit about this money that I have?
Oh yeah, sure.
So once again, for the viewers and the people watching, about how much what can I do just to put it into perspective with this money?
You could become a property mogul. You could, like, it's a lot of money. Trying to think, because you have, I forget, how much did you get?
1,000 platinum.
You had 1,000 platinum, so that's 100,000 gold, I believe. No?
And it was in rubles. Rubles.
Yeah, Markovian rubles.
Yeah, it was like 50k gold, wasn't it?
Yes. Platinum to
Yeah,
gold.
but you could get the whole Fable experience right there. Buy the entire country.
No, I just did gold to platinum, like platinum to gold, but it came up with the actual, like, platinum and gold, real world. 5e.
The official 5e thing is like 10 gold per platinum.
1 platinum is 10. Oh, it's 10 gold, not 100.
Hmm.
Oh, you may have significantly less money then.
Hmm.
Wait, what did I hear? Someone? Nope. I thought I heard a voice.
Ash to put us up. He's looking at us.
Oh, I see. Okay. So you had 5,000 platinum? How much platinum?
1,000.
1,000 platinum.
Yes.
Times 10. That's still 10,000 gold.
That's enough.
So that's not quite as much as I described. That's my bad.
Mhm.
But that's still a lot of money. Like, let me just go to this. You could buy a ship.
Same.
Like, you could straight up buy a sailing ship. Like, that's how much.
So,
Or like a couple properties, or hire some people. You could get some hirelings.
how many
Just buy a bunch of islands
guns
for
would
that
I be able
property.
to buy?
How many guns would you be able to buy?
Oh, no.
Let me
You can buy a Metal Gear.
let me just check real quick. Pistol 5e. Just spelled it wrong. Pistol.
Actually, how much would it be to buy the blueprint or rights to these guns?
You wouldn't be able to buy the right.
Okay.
Divided by 250.
I mean, a couple of guns and a couple
40, you could buy 40 pistols, which is 1d10 piercing damage. Buy a lot.
I mean, a couple good pistols and a couple good craftsmen or artificers and maybe some international waters.
Well,
Who needs rights anyway?
well, we know who owns the ocean, so don't get too ahead of yourself.
Well, so there is this character in the Metal Gear Solid series named Ocelot, right? Is that right?
Yeah, Revolver Ocelot.
No, not Ocelot. What's his name? Otacon.
Ah,
Another Omen. So Otacon is a scientist who helps design weapons. Is that right, Wyndham?
yeah.
Yes. So you can either buy the goods or you can buy the means to produce the goods. And also make new goods in the future. So whoever is my what's his name? Not Edison. The other guy.
Which guy? What do they do?
Not Thomas Edison, but his rival, Tesla, Nikola Tesla. I'll just have to find my Nikola Tesla, give him money to do his thing, and then that's where we go from there.
That is definitely something you could do. You're in the city to do it. Liupai is the biggest city in the world, canonically.
and they have the College of Hope there. So a lot of bright minds saddled with student debt, I imagine. Or is the college fairly free?
College of Hope is free.
Oh, okay. Well, still people looking to make a name for themselves, I imagine. So
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where Liupai is it's a trade city, right? So it has very few taxes on importing stuff into the Diplomatica and exporting stuff from the Diplomatica. Very cheap. They make a lot of their money through like taxing the people who are docked, and through other means. So it's one of those things where they make a lot of money, where they can pay for public services. They're probably the only country that has them. No, actually, most of them have the means to do that, but they're the only ones who would because of what the country's built on. Built by gnomes for everyone. So yeah, very kind. Could also go to the University of Liupai as well.
Mhm.
But that's more for other magic users, not so much bards.
Because you did mention that Liupai is very similar to like New York, I believe.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, it's a melting pot of all different cultures. It's mainly gnomes, dragonborns, and there's a large population of humans, but you can find everybody. You can find people from all over.
And like you said, I think it's the perfect place to find these type of people.
Yeah, definitely.
'Cause I imagine it's probably where they go to, similar to New York, where people go to get big.
Yeah.
So
It's one of the reasons Xandros is moving his base to Liupai.
So kind of related to going big. I don't know if you want to disclose this, but how well known is our group at the moment? At least in.
You are national heroes in the Awa Republic. So you guys are so in groups, so the newsies essentially in the Awa Republic are like, group of heroes saves Awa Republic, Pago fort safe because of band of heroes, that sort of shit. So you guys are known by the Awa Republic now. You guys are fairly well known there. You guys, as far as Markovia are concerned, are traitors and national enemies of the state.
Especially Dante and Lucy, who hail from Markovia, I imagine.
Yeah, not ideal, since two of you come from there. But
Lucy's double exiled from Steady
Double
Pogo.
exiled.
Yeah. And as far as everywhere else, you guys probably you guys won't be known anywhere else. Markovia, Awa Republic, hell yes, you guys will be either famous or infamous, depending on which north or south. But you guys are going to fresh faces in Avalonia. You guys won't know. You guys don't really know anyone other than Gustin. You have maybe a few enemies in the city already because of Xandros. So you guys are going into a place that is more hostile than it is kind, sort of. You guys will see. You're going into a very interesting situation in a city none of you except for Emeth are really familiar with.
And if I remember correctly, the party is taking place here.
Yes, this is where Xandros' party. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, when is the party? Because I think we've been at war for a...
You guys have been at war for a while, so it might have already happened. You guys don't know.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I have to make sure that certain jealous drunkards don't run in there.
I thought it would kind of be cool to infiltrate like a costume ball
Mm.
where we all get fancy disguises and infiltrate and do some party crashing.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting when you guys get there. I have some stuff. It's gonna be interesting. So, because I think this is the other major democracy that you guys will be going to within the world. So the two major democracies in Iruvian are the Awa Republic and the Diplomatica. Most of the other countries have like semblances of democracy. Like, you know, they'll have a council, but at the end of the day, their head of state still has, you know, captain's call. But these two nations are purely democratic. So it's going to be interesting seeing you guys. Like, there isn't really a man. Like, you can't stand up to the man in Liupai, because it's kind of like, thank you for the raid, Astrid.
Ah,
Well, thank you.
yeah, thanks very much.
Thanks for the. I just realized I don't have bulb emotes on the BTT account. I can't bulb.
Oh no. I'll bulb for you.
Thank you.
So, party of 5.
It's I think it's going to be interesting because in Markovia, and I feel for Lucy, like, you know, there's the you hate the establishment, like you get mad, like you can be angry at the man, right? But in the Diplomatica, it's kind of like you have to be angry at the people because they put them there. So it's a bit of an interesting, it's a different situation. So if you come across like political groups that you're like, oh, I hate you, but it's kind of like, but what do I do? I don't believe in this, but like, but it's democratic, so like, can I be angry? So yeah, I think it's.
It also depends on what you feel like Lucy's political views are. Like,
That is
is he against authority or is he against just the government in general?
That's true.
Could just be a total anarchist.
He's a commie. We all know.
What he really is. It's apparently a warmonger.
Well, maybe. Or maybe he just has the wrong he has good intentions with the wrong means.
He's a commie. Straight up. Nah.
I'm just a little bit glad that you don't know what you have an idea. But maybe you don't know like the depth of what it entails.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be interesting. So yeah, but I'm keen to see where the story goes. It's a very interesting kind of situation.
So I'd like to think I am a somewhat smart player. So and I do have a lot of interesting ideas in mind with ideas on how I could possibly do it. Obviously you can kind of just turn that around with just a single word, but so far you've been pretty open to the ideas that I have been giving you.
That's the thing, man. Communicate with your DM and you will get what you desire. Or not get it, but you know.
You just might lose an arm.
Yeah, you'll lose an arm, but you know.
You'll have what you desire dangled in front of you for months.
Yeah, exactly. So do we have any questions from the chat? Chat, you got anything? Any questions? Any burning questions or statements? And while we wait for chat, how we doing, guys? You guys keen
But
for?
last time I tried
sorry.
to answer a question like that, I had a stroke.
That is true. Are you guys excited for winter coming? IRL?
Winter's good.
Yeah. This is my first winter in Massachusetts. So,
Yeah, it'll be your first East Coast winter.
yes. So meaning first snow, living in the snow. I'll have to get some winter tires.
Oh, winter tires are terrible. I hate having to change tires.
We are going into summer. I'm quite excited. I'm feeling that warm sun on my back.
There is nothing but warm sun all year round.
That is not true. That is not true. There is
True.
2.5 months where we don't have warm sun, okay? And it's hard. And it's not horrible. It's nice.
2.5 months.
You have 2.5 months, and that's in summer because that's not hot. That's deadly.
That's true. No. It's at least where I live. We have like Mediterranean weather where I live, or like California weather. So it doesn't get cold, but it's not warm by any means.
You're saying this to a call where you have a Scandinavian.
I know, but to us, cold is if you get to 10 degrees, that's cold. It's freezing.
10 degrees is nice.
Practically freezing. But on the flip side of that, 35 degrees, tasty. It's nice weather. But I think you would literally melt.
Yeah, I would just combust.
I'd love to bring you guys over in the summer. So nice here.
Yeah. Windy in his vampire skin.
Yeah, let's see how that goes. God.
It's not my fault I have the complexion of an axolotl.
Complexion of an axolotl. That's nice. But yeah, so I'm excited. We had our first warm day, like proper warm day in a while. So we had 28 degrees, which is, it's warm. So it's nice. I went for a walk along the beach. It was very nice.
Very nice.
Very nice. I should send you pictures of our beach. Send it in a private chat later. We have very beautiful beaches.
Astrid is saying it was 32 yesterday.
Was it 32 yesterday? Wow.
That's painful.
That I didn't even notice.
I don't even think we hit 32 last year at all.
That's kind of like, that's mid. Like, that's kind of mid warmth. Yeah, in the city. Yeah, down here. So where I live further south, without doxing myself, of the city, and it's roughly 2 to 3 degrees cooler in my town because of our proximity away from the city. I'm gonna send you guys a picture of beach near where I live. I'm trying to find a nice picture.
Yeah, this is totally unrelated, but I've never really been much for the holidays. But with my new living situation, I have, for the first time ever, carved a pumpkin. Which I don't know if you guys do over there in Australia, but
some crazy people do.
I will share it with you guys. This is the first time I've ever decorated for a holiday, and first time I've carved a pumpkin for Halloween. Actually doing holiday-related stuff.
Nice. I also sent a picture of our beach, like one of the local beaches. It's very nice.
A very nice beach.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the water looks really good.
That is literally an 8-minute drive from my house.
Looks nearly drinkable.
Wow.
Nearly.
Oh, okay.
If it weren't salt.
It's still seawater.
I will say though, like, American culture has slowly been seeping into Australia for a while. Halloween keeps becoming a bigger and bigger thing. The beach near Astrid is better, I will concede. She has a very nice beach.
And is it always this, not abandoned, but avoided people?
It depends. Depends on the day. Depends on a lot of things. If it's a public holiday, if it's how sunny it is, if there's anything else going on. If it's a weekday, like probably in the lead up to Christmas, so like maybe, or even after, like early January on a weekday, like that would, like there'd probably be maybe 20 people on that beach. So you'd have the whole thing to yourself as long as you had the week off.
here in States, or at least in California, is when you have these nice beaches, it's normally littered with people.
There's also a lot more people in the States, though, than there is here.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Like, there's more... So, in LA County, right, by itself, there is 5 times as many people as in Western Australia. Western Australia is like 2 point something million people, and LA County, just LA County, has 10 million people.
Wow. LA County is like basically twice Denmark.
Yeah, 2 Denmarks is just LA County. But yeah, when you have less people, it's easier to find good beaches. Although on Christmas or Australia Day, it gets a little bit hectic, but...
Australia Day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the day Australia got colonized, or Invasion Day, some people call it. I'm not going to get into it here. This isn't a politics stream, but yeah, Australia Day is a very contentious topic in Australia.
Just like Columbus Day is here.
Yes, yeah, I think it's kind of a similar kind of vibe, except Australia Day is our like the national holiday. It's like our Independence Day. It's like 4th of July is our Australia Day, so it's a little bit more contentious. But anyways, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
How do you guys feel about Gustin?
Well, he's apparently on the way to quite a bit of power with the absence of Robert.
With
So-
Lucy. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say we should probably stay on his good side.
Really? I think it's interesting how much Lucy has influenced my way of thinking. So when I meet these powerful people and or beings, it doesn't really occur to me to be on their nice side. Hence why he's in this situation with Sundaresh, probably.
Probably, yeah.
But he and me don't really feel the need to please anyone or be on anyone's good side. Unless it benefits him in some way. And at the moment, because the interactions that Lucy's had with Gustin, first in the prison, and then I believe the second time was when he was choking Matif.
Yes.
Right. And to Lucy, the first time when they met, he just dropped the, "Hey, we're looking at you," right? "We're from the College of Hope." And because Lucy hasn't really heard of it before, it was just kind of, okay, what does this even mean? Right. And then the second time, Gustin was telling him how disappointed he was in him, and because of like what he was doing. And then even that time, like, yeah, he does feel a little bit bad from another outsider, like kind of looking in, but still, it's like I still don't understand who you are, or don't know who you are. And I imagine that on the battlefield, they probably didn't see much of each other as well.
No, you guys were on opposite side. Not opposite. You guys were on opposite, like, fronts. He was on the right front, you were on the left. So
I still think that Lucy doesn't really have much respect for him at the moment. Me as a player, I can see his importance, but Lucy doesn't really see anything really special about Gustin. And I just remember the kiss that they had.
like, Gustin's not gonna complain. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting when you actually rock up to the College of Hope.
Yeah, so that's kind of like Lucy's views on Gussie. But I feel like though he will feel for him though a little bit when he learns of Gustin's relationship with Robert the Bold.
I think it's also going to change because I don't think Lucy is aware about what happened to the gnomes either. So I think that's going to be interesting when he finds that out. So yeah, because I think what's really interesting for me is since the big war, the ancient war, for humans it's been countless generations, right? Like Markovia and that entire continent is unrecognizable compared to what it was 1,000 years ago, right? But for the gnomes and the elves, it's only been one generation, maybe two.
Yeah.
So it's still very fresh for them. Whereas for the humans and the orcs, the dragonborn, they've all moved on. They were all like, the fuck are you guys doing? Being sad about this thing that happened thousands of years ago. Get over it. Like, get moving. But for them, it's still very fresh.
Because they might have been part of it because they're so old. So.
Well, the oldest would have died, but it's like their children.
Yeah.
So it's like the children of Holocaust survivors. Nearly. Not quite, but, a similar kind of thing. It's still a very big part of their culture and the stories they were told growing up. The world is not a nice place for them. So, yeah. I think that's going to be interesting when Lucy is confronted with that.
Kind of related to that, maybe you can answer this, is that how do you get a good balance between the player character's intentions and like the overall moving forward of the story?
It's hard because you can have players stay in one place forever, right? Technically. You guys could have never left the Pago Fort and we could have told the whole story just you guys doing your own shit, right? Or I could have railroaded you guys and you guys had a backstory but it wasn't actually important to the game, right? Which isn't fun for anybody. Like, my answer to DMs who railroad campaigns is go write a book. Don't drag 5 to 8 people through that game. Just go write a book. So what I do usually is I'll have 5 or 6 major players and major things going on around you guys, depending on if you guys, for example, right now that we're through, you guys are in the Pago Fort, right? Getting to know each other. You guys prepare to leave. All of a sudden, this ambassador comes to the Pago Fort, right? To discuss the terms of the treaty. Rewrite the terms. The treaty, make sure things are going on, right? There is event 1. You guys could have stayed in the Pago Fort and investigated that further. You chose not to. You chose to keep on going with the goal you had from Xandros, and you kept traveling north, right? So I'm like, okay, check. They did not interfere in this thing. She's dead. Moving on. You guys get to Steny Burger. Rocking around there. I'm just like, okay. Markovia is doing war preparation to the north of Steny Burger. Maybe they go investigate that. Maybe they head north for some weird reason instead of going east, right? You did. Check. You guys get to do that. You guys begin heading west. You guys go to Vinograd. And I'm like, okay, cool. Here's a bunch of, stuff that's going to happen. You guys are going to see what do you call it? People on horses. Troops on horses.
Cavalry?
The cavalry.
That's right. They'll see the cavalry, maybe, and they'll also hear of war declared when they leave Vinograd, whenever that is. Right? Okay. Tick. Right? And then I have the subplots. Right? Because that's the main plot of what's happening in this region. is deception and war, right? That is the main thing that is happening, right? So you guys do your own thing, and then I go in, and okay. And sometimes the stories write themselves. Lucy says some poems on a clock tower, gets shot down. Then we get to have a court scene. Fucking sick, right? I get to interject with elk scenes throughout the course of you guys traveling. Tick. Other things kind of write themselves. The Matif Lucy conflict writes itself. I don't really need to interfere. I put you into some situations where that happens, but there was a lot of times where you guys just did it yourselves. And then I'm like, okay, here's some interesting NPCs. You guys met Mario. Maybe they talk to him. Try and learn more about him. He's a very interesting man with a long history. Maybe they talk to him. Maybe they don't. You guys chose to talk to him. Sweet. Lore drop. Bam. You guys head up the mountain. And then we get into the stuff where I intended. Like, this needs to happen at the top of the mountain. Here's the prophecy. Bam. Here's not a direction, but here's stuff, here's a thing leading to future plots in the future, right? Something that I can come back to. It's somewhat for you guys, and it's also for me to help me keep on a specific track, right? And then I just try to balance it all. Because really what I do is the main plot, which is the war and the deception, I only give you in like small little details until it becomes a big threat. And you guys make certain decisions which alter that war. There are plenty of things you guys could have done. You guys could have told somebody about all the troops you saw north of Steniboga. You could have warned the Pego Fort. Chose not to. You guys could have stayed back in the Pego Fort to investigate what was happening. You chose not to. So I give you guys options, or you guys will acquire information. What you guys do with that information is up to you. I don't know what you'll do with it. My job is to just give you it. So that's kind of how I do it, is the main plot is small until it's not. So in the meantime, I focus on the players. And then when the big plot becomes big, like with the Battle of the Pego Fort, that's where it starts to override character, like, subplots. Like Sundaresh, stuff like that. Stuff that I intended. It's in between the stuff I intend, where I pick away at your characters and get them to do stuff.
And so one of the reasons that I ask that is because, as in every D&D story, is that as characters start to, in this case, level up, because we are using the milestone progression, they have more of an influence in the world, right?
Yeah.
Not just in like their power, but because we are milestone, and the way you kind of do it is based on how much cool stuff we do.
Yeah.
Is that as our player characters become stronger, they have the more of an influence on maybe some of these main plots that you have in mind. Like, for example, if for whatever reason Dante turns into a messenger of whatever patron he is, and he becomes all powerful, like he maybe becomes the main plot, right? So I was just curious to see if it would ever head in like that direction, where the main characters become like the main plot.
My main, yes, there are situations where where character arcs can become the main story, right? There is definitely, and I foresee in the near future when Dante decides to go find his patron, like, you know, he has been asking him to do, that will probably become the main plot when he chooses to go do that. Other ones, if Matif decides to go try fight some pirates, that's probably going to become the main plot. It won't be as overarching as the war plot would be, for example, would be a lot shorter. Less of an arc, more like a mini arc, but it would definitely become the main plot for a while. That doesn't mean things aren't still happening with the other plot. You deciding to go do something with somebody else does not mean the world stops around you. So there is definitely chances. I think there's lots of opportunity for Lucy to become the main plot. I think Emeth is going to start doing stuff now that she's home. And I am hyper aware of what the players are doing and how much quote unquote screen time they're getting. And I am aware that throughout most of this, Emeth has kind of been to the side somewhat, right? But I also knew, because I know things that you guys don't, that when her stuff does come up, it's going to be very big. So I don't feel so bad that it's kind of revolving around other players at the moment, because I know that when we do get to Emeth, we're gonna get to Emeth. So it is a big balancing act, but it's something you kind of get used to through trial and error. Like, I've learnt through a lot of error about focusing on characters. And in one of my last campaigns that I did, which was the last campaign that took place in Iruvian, I focused on one character way too much, right? And I see that now in hindsight. And I'm like, I shouldn't have done that. Like, every session, they got this player got the limelight, right? And looking back, I'm like, I shouldn't have done that. That was a mistake. But now I've learned that. Now I can balance better because of it. So it's kind of something you learn. It's not something you just do.
And, so now that you've kind of mentioned that, can I drop my latest conspiracy theory now?
Sure, please.
Okay. Dante, do you have any conspiracy theories on who Emeth might be? Or sorry, not Dante. Oh, Wendy.
I am just Dante today. Not really, but I'm very curious.
So I have a feeling that she might be like a princess or royalty of some kind, actually. And maybe she tried to escape that at one point by, doing different things, and maybe that led to her being a pirate. But maybe she is royalty of some kind.
Interesting.
I like that idea. Like, there's definitely something, like a big secret somewhere.
Mm. And like, we've gotten hints so far, right? Like, I believe the first time that Lucy encountered it was when they played the truth game, and then she mentioned something about, I have a good relationship with my father, but unfortunately Lucy didn't roll so well on that one, so that one never really got expanded upon. But then I think the next time he heard it was in the cave with Sundaresh. So now we're definitely getting more hints, but I'm sure that now that we're here, we will see a lot more of that. And especially because Dante's getting a face tattoo in the next session.
I'm not so sure about that one.
Have you not seen The Hangover?
I have.
God, I haven't watched The Hangover in a long time. God.
But Astrid and I were discussing if we would like to get tattoos in League Pie. And so we decided that Dante is coming along and getting a face tattoo.
Yeah, I do think it's going to be interesting, the story moving forward. I think it's going to go into some interesting directions. And yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting, especially now that you're in Liu Pai. In my running of games in Iruvian, I've spent the most time in Liu Pai. So it's going to be interesting trying to remember all that knowledge that I have backed away somewhere in a mind box somewhere.
Quick test. What's the population of Liu Pai?
Oh, it's really big. I think it's 1 million.
Oh my.
Which for fantasy world, that is a lot. Yeah. Pretty sure, because the population of Steny Vogue is only like 350,000, I think, and it's one of the bigger cities in Markovia. Yeah, Liu Pai. I don't call it the New York of Iruvian for nothing. It's probably the biggest city, I think. Let me look at the map real quick. Try and remind myself.
Perfect for Lucy, though. The more people, the better for him. Just hopefully he won't
indoctrinate.
Yes. Indoctrinate.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what's worse, recruiting or indoctrinating.
Yeah. There is no city in Iruvian that even comes close to Liu Pai in terms of size. Yeah. Like, it's probably, there's as many people... Yeah. It's huge. It's huge.
It's huge.
So, but it's one of those nations where it's just like, most of the people who live there were not born there, and they're like, you know, they live there only part of the time. You know, a lot of seafarers and stuff. So, it's an interesting city. Cool. Anything else you guys wanted to talk about?
I was actually thinking about this, but how knowledgeable are the group of like matters outside of, I guess, like the world politics? Because I was wondering if like world politics is kind of a thing there, where different countries are aware of what's going on around the world.
Okay. I'll tell you guys this, because you guys are Markovian, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Lucy specifically has spent a lot of time in the Bois Republic, right? There is a triumvirate of nations which are in an alliance, right? It's the biggest world alliance there is, and that is the Diplomatica, the Tanin Likar, which is one of the Prismatic Isles, one of the nations in the Prismatic Isles, because there's two, and the Bois Republic. They are in a formal alliance, which is why Dragonborn and Gnomish forces came to aid the Pego Fort when it was fighting, because they are in an alliance. Outside of that, however, world politics does not extend much further than trade in Liu Pai. Yeah, look, I'm going to be drawing up some new maps and adding some more places and nations. So, yeah, which shouldn't affect people too much, because I'm going to be adding them in places which have not been too important yet, if you know what I mean. And none of the characters have stuff that's tied to those areas, so I have a bit of freedom. But I kind of looked at the map and I'm like, it's just too spread out. Like, there's too few nations. Like, there should be more nations. Like, if you look at Europe, there's so many nations tucked into one small place. It's hard for me because I come from Australia, so it's like we're one big huge
with just a huge space and one nation.
Exactly, we're a continent and a country, so it's hard for me when I draw up maps of countries. I'm like, yep, put a big old island there, that's a nation, you know, etc., etc. So I have a bit of a different view on how countries work as opposed to like other people, just because like, you know, and our northernmost neighbor is just a huge archipelago. Like Indonesia is huge. So I have a very different view of how nations work, which is probably why I've constructed it like this, but I want to kind of start.
It is the exact opposite view that I have.
Yeah.
I cross borders for fun.
Exactly. Like I would have to get on a boat and drive for literally like days to get to the next country. So
I hopped in my car and went shopping in a different country for fun, and then I went back.
Exactly. It would take me.
It wasn't even 8 hours.
It'd take me a day and a half to get to the next state. Just that's without breaks. Probably like 4 days, really, 3 or 4 days. So
I think I can cross 4, maybe 5 countries
in a day.
I think my dad told me we could probably reach Paris in less than a day.
Jeez Louise. And you'd cross 5 different languages in that time. Probably more.
Yeah.
That's crazy. See, like,
it's tiny.
I fly to the other side of Australia and I can't tell that I'm in a different part of Australia just by listening to people. So, well, that's not quite true. I've actually been listening a lot and I'm like, oh wow, East Coast people sound a lot different to us here in the West. Maybe there is a difference. But anyways, I think that's probably a good place to end for today because I have work tomorrow morning, so I can't stay up too late. It was nice chatting to you, lads.
It's been nice being here.
And it's been nice, the old cover. I've been using that actually.
I beat Windy. Time to hashtag plug yourself.
Oh, we both beat Wendy.
Hey.
Get wrecked.
I was being a bit mentally absent for a second.
Yume, what do you do?
Yeah, so I write poetry. I've also been recently been sharing my political poetry actually.
Ooh.
You can find my stuff on my YouTube channel. And with some of the influx of free time that I've had recently, I've been collaborating with the VTT crew. This past week was with Berna, and we will be meeting again this Tuesday. And then possible in the future that I will join the Windy and Past on their Drunken Tirade stream. So please look forward to that.
Windham Vossler, it's almost the Windiversary.
It is. Yeah, I do a lot of gaming streams regularly, but I'll be doing as much stuff I can make myself do next week. As the Wednesday is my streaming anniversary. I've streamed a lot in the last year, and I'm looking forward to celebrating with hopefully some of my viewers and maybe some people here. I don't know what I'm doing yet, though.
That's fair.
But of course, the day after, Thursday, drunk stream with Pastel, potentially Yume.
Cool.
I think that's a drunk stream and not a drinking stream. Like you guys already have an idea in mind.
The idea is to get drunk.
Cool. And I'm the humble dungeon wizard, Merlin the Magister. I am actually thinking of streaming on Merlin the Magister, the actual account, soon. Crazy. I think I'm gonna be doing some Pokemon ROM hacks.
Ooh.
There's a new ROM hack out called Inclement Emerald, which looks really good. So I think I'm gonna be playing that in the future, and if I can upgrade my PC in time, probably maybe some Apex. Apex Legends. But we'll see how that goes. My PC can barely run it as it is, so hopefully I can get it upgraded in time. But other than that, keep an eye out on the VTT channel. Content will be a little sparse this week. There may be a mini makers on Monday, maybe, with Pastel and Windham, maybe.
I'd be on.
There may be a mini makers. I'm gonna have to tap out probably for the next 2 weeks, other than D&D next Saturday, just because I'm very busy with university work at the moment. So I'm probably gonna be out of action for a hot minute. But after that, keep an eye on the channel. Things are getting lit. We got so much stuff coming for you guys. So just keep an eye out. And we'll see you... Actually, do you want to say it? You may?
Yeah, we'll catch you guys. Not on the other side, because we are on the other side. But we'll catch you next week.
Alright.
Is that what you wanted me to say?
Yep. Bye, Anara.
Okay. Bye.
Mata ne.